Hey, what's up? My name's Samuel Leeds, and on this video, I want to be giving you 10 ways how you can improve your credit score in the UK to go and buy a load more properties. The first way to improve your credit rating is to know what it is. You need to know what it is, otherwise you've got nothing to work on. I recommend a site called Credit Karma. There are different sites that do this, but Credit Karma is what I personally use. That's the first thing. Second thing is, don't freak out if your credit is not perfect. 710 is the maximum, 0 is the lowest. Maybe you should freak out if it's 0, but don't freak out. Sometimes if your credit score is showing as poor or fair, it's because of a small problem. So I know a guy, one of my students, and he couldn't get a mortgage because he was saying his credit was bad. And then he went onto Credit Karma and it was showing his credit as bad. And then he looked on Credit Karma and looked as to why it was bad. And it said that there was an outstanding debt, which turned out to be a mobile phone debt from about a year ago, which was outstanding of £11.50. So he just phoned up the company, paid off the £11.50, his credit score then increased, he was able to get a mortgage. So secondly, don't freak out if it's bad. Find out what's wrong with it. On Credit Karma, there'll be a tab somewhere where you can find out how you can improve your credit. I'd really recommend doing that. Secondly, thirdly, make sure you are on the electoral roll. If you've moved house and you forgot to register for the electoral roll, I don't know why exactly, but it will really affect your credit. So always make sure that you are on the electoral roll. 4 is make sure that your details on Credit Karma, make sure that they're all up to date. Your name, your date of birth, your address, make sure that they're current, correct, and up to date. It helps make sure that you have a good credit score. Number 5 is late payments. If you've had any late payments, maybe you paid for a mobile phone or a utility bill, if you paid for it late and it's now flagging up on your credit file, then what I would recommend doing is just ring up the company that you paid late and ask them what you need to do to rectify the situation. Just ring up the companies and make sure that you have no outstanding payments. It's so annoying because sometimes it can be as little as £11.50, and then that stops you then buying a property which is going to make you thousands and thousands of pounds. So always make sure that you've paid off any late payments. Ring up the companies. Number 6 is use credit. Sometimes people who want a good credit, they think that if they have no credit cards, they have no debts, they have no loans, it's going to mean that they have better credit somehow. But it's actually the opposite. What banks and lenders want to see when they check your credit file is they want to see that you're a responsible adult. They want to see that you have actually got credit, you've got credit cards, you've got loans, but you just always pay back on time and responsibly, and that actually helps improve your credit. Number 7, don't be stubborn. What do I mean by that is sometimes companies do make mistakes. I had a situation where I cancelled my phone bill. It's always phones that do this. I cancelled my phone bill, and even though I cancelled it, they carried on charging me. And I was like, this is ridiculous. And I kept trying to cancel, I couldn't get hold of them. So in the end, I just cancelled the direct debit. I don't know exactly what happened, but I know that about 3 years later, apparently, I think the company were wrong. I owed them 1 month's bill of £56. Apparently, I think they were wrong because I've been trying to cancel for months and months. And that was now affecting my ability to buy a house. And I was thinking, oh my goodness. So I tracked it back to this phone company, and I went into the store and I said, look, I didn't owe this money. And I was proving to them I didn't owe it, but they were just, oh, I don't know, I'm not sure, The human nature in me wanted to fight the case and say, look, do you know how hard it is to cancel with you guys? I tried to cancel for months, I'd finished, and I knew that I was right, and I had proof of that, had email, everything to prove that. But in the end, I just thought, what's the point? If I fight this, it could take months and months. Then my house is going to fall through, all because I was stubborn. So don't be super stubborn, just think commercially, and again, pay off things that need to be paid off, and don't be too stubborn. Number 8, this is a really, really important tip if, like me, you're a landlord and own lots of houses. Sometimes what can happen, and it's really frustrating when this happens, is a payment will bounce. So at one of your houses, and you might have lots of different lenders, they'll go to try and take money out of your account. And for whatever reason, because you've managed your money badly, there's no money in that account. And for the sake of £150 for that monthly payment, it then bounces, there's no money. Now you might have 20,000, £1 million in your other accounts, but in this account, you happen to have no money and it bounced. Now that can really badly affect your credit. And I had that happen to me once when they tried to take a payment. I didn't have money in that account, so that they didn't take the payment. So what I did was I asked the lender, I said, listen, can I please give you £150 1 month just to sort of sit in like with you in a reserve account. If you ever can't take the payment from me, I'm good for it. I do have the money. Use that £150 and then find me and tell me, and I'll give you another £150. So it just kind of just sits there in this pot. And after doing that, I did that with all my lenders. I just gave them all. I was always a month ahead, so that if they can't take it, there's a little pot, and I'm sure that that's probably saved me big time in any bouncing related payment. So really important tip if you're a property investor. Number 9 is, if there's anything really weird showing on your credit file on Credit Karma and it's affecting your credit and you don't understand it, ask Credit Karma to investigate for you. Don't just accept, oh, I've got really bad credit, if you don't know why. If it's something small, you can usually always rectify it. So, fight it and find out if there's an error, which there can be. Sometimes there's errors and it's saying you've got bad credit just because of something that's happened, which is not your fault. So always ask things to be disputed and fight your corner. And number 10 is, when you are applying for loans, don't apply for lots and lots of loans all at once, because when you do that, every time you apply for credit, what happens is it leaves a print on your credit file. There's nothing wrong with having prints, but if you've got lots of them, particularly if they're all close together, it makes it look like you're desperate for money and you're like, oh my gosh, I need a loan. Then that affects your credit. So don't be getting loads of quotes for loans in the space of a short time over and over. If you are getting quotes for mortgages and stuff, ask the question, is this gonna leave a print on my credit file? And just be mindful of that. Don't have to go overboard and be crazy. There's nothing wrong with having prints, but you don't want loads of prints all in one go. So those are the 10 things that will help improve your credit. There is a bonus tip as well, and that is to be patient. It does sometimes take time. You're not gonna go from 500 up to 710 in the space of a few days or even a few weeks. This can take months, but you can rectify a big problem quickly, which can help get finance. So just be patient. Don't write yourself off either. I've known many of my students who are wanting to get properties that have got CCJs, county court judgments against them. They've got a really bad credit, but it doesn't necessarily mean you can't get a mortgage. Because if you're buying a property to rent out, of course they care about your credit, but more than anything, they care about the property and is the property profitable. They're lending on the property, they're not lending it to you. So don't write yourself off, get a good broker, be patient, and I wish you all the best in having an excellent credit and being a successful property investor.